Hello there! Welcome to a new episode of Job Tales. Do you know what is the difference between an osteopath and a physiotherapist? Well, if you wish to become an osteopath, this will definitely be a useful information to have. Let's listen to David Lewis and his story. Thank you so much, David. I would love to learn what path took you to your present career as an osteopath.
I was an international sportsman, and when you get close to the end of your career, you start looking at what you're going to do. And I always wanted to do something medical. I thought of physiotherapy first, and then I was introduced to osteopathy. It was more interesting for me. It sort of gave me more what I wanted. So I followed that path.
In what sense was it going to give you more than the normal medicine path?
Because I studied in the UK, it gave me more autonomy. Once you qualify as an osteopath, you can go into private practice. With physiotherapy, you generally, the minute you qualify, you go into hospital. You work in a private practice or in a hospital. But when you're doing your studies, it's very hospital-based. So you do lots of subjects that really didn't interest me, like respiratory physiotherapy and cardiac physiotherapy. I was more into getting my hands on treating patients, and osteopathy gave you that, because with osteopathy in the first year, you actually start being in contact with patients. Firstly, just observing, and then by the end of the first year, you start putting your hands on patients and examining, and you could do that for your 4 years of degree.
I see. Okay, so for the layman, such as myself, can you tell the difference between a physiotherapist and an osteopath?
In general terms, an osteopath treats patients hands-on. So we do about 80% of the treatment is actual treating the patients hands-on, doing treatment to their muscles, to the ligaments, to the joints, to the tendons, and improving their mobility. And then on top of that, then we're advise on exercise, demonstrate some exercises. And on the other side with physio, it's far more exercise based. So they tend to do about 70 to 80% more exercise prescription with some treatment included. So it's just, we're going for the same goal, but osteopathy is more hands-on in general, and physio is more exercise prescription. As you progress in your career, and as now I work with international sport and elite athletes, you generally find the physios and osteopaths who work together, we're very similar. The base level osteopaths are pretty much that. Osteopaths very hands-on, and the physios very exercise prescription based.
Okay, I see. So you were doing sports professionally before you studied to be an osteopath?
Yeah, I was in the British ski team for about, I think, 8 years. And then when I finished my career in the ski team, and it was a freestyle ski team, so it was acrobatic skiing. Then I did 4 years on a professional team sponsored by Volvo cars and a Japanese clothing company. For my final 4 years of my career, I was paid to do my job, which was a nice thing.
Nice. That's the dream of every sportsman, right?
Exactly. A little bit of payment for the sweat and tears.
Right. What is the curriculum when you study? What are the subject matters that you study to become an osteopath? Is there a common subject line with medicine, physiotherapy, and then what makes it a unique osteopath?
The initial year of osteopathy is very similar to medicine and very similar, I think, to physiotherapy. You study chemistry, anatomy, biology, and clinical reasoning. And then in osteopathy, as you move into your second, third, and fourth year, you very much follow the philosophies of the osteopathic approach, which is very much a balanced approach to treatment of a patient.
Okay. And what was your first job as an osteopath?
I worked in a clinic in the west of England. in a small town, military town. So a lot of my patients were officers in the army. That was really interesting. And the owner of the clinic was so helpful, because you're sort of wet behind your ears before, when you start. You're very nervous to start alone. But he was great. He was great.
Did you just knock at the door and said, I would like to have a job? And then he said, yes, go ahead.
The osteopaths in Britain, they generally advertise because they know when the osteopaths are graduating. So if they're looking for someone, they post adverts, and then you just apply.
That's very good. That was not my line of work. How my line of work worked. So that makes things a bit easier, right? When there is a demand and you know where to go to.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And then from first job to where you are now, what happened? So you're based in Switzerland, and that's how we met at the treatment room, for which
Yeah.
I'm still very grateful, because your team did fix my problem. So what happened? What has been your path, and what are you doing now?
After about 7 years in the UK, I really wanted to get back to the Alps and the lakes, and so with my partner, we decided to sell our clinics. We had 2 clinics in the UK, in Wiltshire, in the UK, and sell up and move out to just over the border in France. And now we just went for it. Basically, we moved out without one patient, didn't have a job, and just believed that we could make something work, and we did.
Excellent. And you work now, you were telling me, for the elite athletes. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I think 2006, I started working for British Gymnastics, and I did about 2 years with them. And then the Swiss Gymnastics Federation saw that I was living in Geneva, or working in Geneva, and they were in the need of a new therapist to follow one of their gymnastic teams. So I started with them. I worked with them for quite a few years. And then more recently, the last 3 years, I've been working with Swiss Ski, which has been fantastic. It's quite amazing to be an English osteopath and being accepted by Swiss Ski, Swiss Olympic, and to work for the national sport of Switzerland is fantastic.
Yeah, congratulations. And you're actually soon going to Canada for this reason, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I leave to Quebec, where we have our pre-Olympic training camp. So we'll be there for 2 weeks, living pretty much in a bubble, not in contact with anyone due to the COVID restrictions. And we would do all our training and treatments and fitness there. And then we'll come home. I presume when we come home, we'll receive all our clothing for the Olympics. And then around the 4th of February, we'll fly out with probably more of the Swiss delegation to Beijing to start our Olympic preparation.
I was wondering, because you obviously have on a daily basis lots of patients that come to you. Do you need to keep up to date on the latest techniques? Do you need to follow conferences, go to workshops for your job?
Yes, it's part of the rules. Osteopaths in Switzerland, you're regulated by an osteopathic federation, but also another group called the RME, and they stipulate that you have to produce quite a few hours proving that you've been on courses or done studies, and you're not forced to follow a specific curriculum. You can do subjects that you're interested in. But every year you have to produce that you've done about 30 hours of new study. Yeah.
And does it have to be in Switzerland, or can you do it elsewhere?
No, it can be anywhere. They're pretty good at accepting, wherever you do it.
Okay. Are there any myths around your job that you would like to share?
Myths. The only myths I can think, people, it was one of my marketing tools years ago, that more than just backs. I think a lot of people just thinks we treat only backs and necks. the body functions as one whole unit. So we treat backs and necks, obviously, but shoulders, knees, ankles, many things. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just about the backs. And is there
No.
any fun anecdotes over the course of your career?
Probably my first day as an osteopath. That was the working in Wiltshire. I was so eager to be a good osteopath, and I had this old lady come in and for a treatment. She was a lovely lady. She was a patient of the owner of the clinic, and I treated her, and I thought I was doing a really good job. But I was so enthusiastic. I treated her longer than I should, and she got stuck on the treatment couch because she couldn't move after that. There was nothing wrong with her. She was just an old lady that didn't normally lie down for so long. And my boss came in and just came in. He got her up to her feet within seconds and went and just looked at me and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You'll learn."
For someone who wants to become like an independent osteopath, between the moment you finish your studies and then the moment you actually become an independent osteopath, how long does it, in average take?
Well, once you've done your 4 to 5 year degree, you can, in osteopathy, that's why I like the idea of osteopathy, you can go straight into private practice. In the UK, you have to be registered with the General Osteopathic Council. And to work in Switzerland, you have to be registered with the Fédération Suisse des Ostéopathes.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're accepted and you have their registration, you apply for me in Switzerland, I had to apply for a droit de pratique. And once you get that, you can work.
Okay. So it's really like, applying to some authorities and then paperwork and that's it.
Yeah, quite a bit of paperwork, but it's not so difficult.
Okay. And would you say internship, does it help? Is it part of the curriculum you need to build or not?
No. Basically, you do your 4 years degree. And then in Switzerland, when you qualify, there's a sort of a 2-year breathing space where basically you work with an osteopath who has a CDS certificate. And basically, he's your mentor for 2 years. So you are a qualified osteopath, but you have to do 2 years full time of under the wings, as you would say, of an experienced osteopath.
Okay, there will be a mentor in other lines of work.
Yeah, exactly. But they can work as an osteopath, normal osteopath. Yeah.
That's so exciting. And I wonder what advice you can give to a young man or a young woman who wants to enter this line of work, or even adults, because I'm sure that this is a very appealing job.
Yeah, I mean, I was a mature student. I started when I was 31, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a great job. I think often mature students are far more focused on what they want to do. So they don't have a problem succeeding with this. But students coming straight from school or straight from university, to study to be an osteopath is a lot of work. It's like medicine, you do up to 8 exams or tests a year. And it feels like it's non-stop. The minute you finish one, there's another one round the corner. But it's a lot of hard work, but it's very, very rewarding. And I could recommend to anyone, really.
Great. And what is the best part of your profession for you?
For me, 2 things. I love every day I meet amazing people, different people every day from all walks of life, which is fantastic. And then I've got the other side where I'm allowed to work with world-class athletes. And the team I'm working with, they are in the top 7 in the world. So it's fantastic.
It's very, very attractive. I like it a lot. I wish in another life I would have been an osteopath. It does change people's lives. Actually, it's when you're. I do remember when I came into your practice, how bad I felt, and the fact that you can improve people's lives. It's a major plus of this job for sure.
And we try to make people take control of their symptoms, their pain, so they're in charge of it instead of just coming, being moved around, and then they go home and do nothing. We try to involve them, so say, they're part of their treatment as well.
And tell me, like, one last thing: was it difficult for you or easy to create your own practice here in Switzerland?
It's not difficult to actually start a practice. Geneva is a little bit different to other cities in Switzerland. Geneva is very cosmopolitan, expat. So there's, like if you're in Zurich, it's very Swiss German, but in Geneva, it's multinational, multilingual. So that's caused a few problems, for marketing and things like that. But it's not that hard to set up. You just got to realize you're not a marketing genius and take advice from other people, and hopefully you do the right things.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, David, especially finding time, squeezing it in between your preparation days before the departure. I wish you all the best. And then if you have any link that you want me to share, I'll be very happy to do so.
Okay, well, thanks very much. And you take care, and hopefully see you soon.
If you want to know what the difference is between an osteopath and a chiropractor, then stay tuned, as a new interview is coming up soon with a practicing chiro from the beautiful island of Turks and Caicos. See you soon. Bye-bye.